few days ago, Dr. Matthew was nominated as running mate for the New Patriotic Party. Is it the best the party could offer for these coming elections?
Well, I think that in the circumstances and in the situation that we find ourselves, he is undoubtedly the best person to partner His Excellency the Vice President. Don't forget that per the party's constitution, he is the one who is supposed to be chosen by the running mate. That is, if he so desires, that the person that he is choosing is someone who he can work with. And so I feel that the sole prerogative that is given to the Vice President is what was exercised on Thursday. I think that this is a person who is seen as a doyen in Ghanaian politics and also in the party. I remember in 2012 when he was elected as the Director of Elections, for him to spearhead the whole architecture of the New Patriotic Party's campaign, which led us to go to the Supreme Court after the very things that happened, which we felt that that was unethical, and it did not add to the dictates and the principles of what the election machinery should have been. In Ghana, I think that having led the Education Ministry and the Energy Ministry, he has proven beyond every reasonable doubt that every small space that you give him, he will make an impact. He's an achiever, somebody who is a result-oriented person, very bold and assertive. And in the current situation, I think that Dr. Matthew Prempeh is going to be a very good vice president.
I'm sure you heard your opponents say or refer to him as arrogant. This is somebody you've worked with him at the Education Ministry. How can you describe him?
Assuming without admitting that indeed he's arrogant, we want someone who will be a vice president who is humble and will not be able to change the fortunes of our country. Or we want somebody who is arrogant, in your own words, which I've already told you that assuming without admitting that indeed he's arrogant, someone who can change the fortunes of this country and make sure that there's development, someone who was given the space of the Education Ministry, he was simply a medic. He was not an educationist, but was able to bring about the most reforms ever to have happened since 1992 in the education sector. Someone who have shown that indeed, without anything, there could have been an implementation of the free senior high school education, where most of the people in the NDC never believed in it. Someone who, when he was given the room to be the energy minister, a lot of people said that he had no background in energy, and he has shown that indeed he is one of the best that we could ever get. And so as to whether he's arrogant or not does not put food on my table. What I am looking for as a voter is who can make sure that the digitalization agenda that we so much desire to seek, so that we can rub shoulders with the people in the diaspora, the people also in outside Ghana, it's what is of most important to me. I am looking for someone who, whether arrogant or not, but could make sure that the challenges that we face as a nation has been dealt with, well thought out through policies that can change the fortunes of this country. And that is what I'm interested in. I think that in Africa, we seem to be so much be dwelling on some of these things that are not helping or supporting anything in our country. Assuming that we voted for all vice presidents who have been humble, what has been the impact really? I think that the lives of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have shown, whether humble or arrogant, the kind of thinking and the kind of policies that he brings on board to support a presidential candidate is what I'm looking for. And so I don't think that it should be a discussion.
In your speech at the conference, you said you are known all this while that he's going to be the running mate for His Excellency Bawumia. What do you think kept his announcement this long?
Well, he prepared himself, but of course, there should be some consultation to the party. When it happens like this, there are people who think that they also have a say, or they will have to, as it were, have the opinions heard. Remember, in November, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia went to National Council, he went to plead for more time to do better consultations. within the past 6 months, I'm sure that he's done the best of consultations, and that is why we have Dr. Matapoku Pempe as his running mate.
On paper, do you think he can match up with the NDC's Professor Nana Opobajiman?
Well, the only similarity between the two of them is both of them have been education ministers. That is the only similarities between the two of them. So we just have to compare or just oppose the achievements when both of them were ministers of education. From 2017 to 2020, there were more than 22 acts or bills that were passed by the Ministry of Education. I've already told you that he's led the most reformed ministry ever since the dispensation of this democracy. No minister has ever led such reforms ever in Ghana. You remember at the time where you had a number of TVET schools that were scattered around various ministries. The Education Regulatory Act made sure that we bring some amount of realignment so that there will be a TVET service. So now we have TVET service that has been realigned to make sure that all technical vocational education training schools are under one service. And this was spearheaded by Dr. Matapoku Pempe. I mean, his achievements at the Ministry of Education is unmatched. You can give Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman 30 years. She cannot do what Dr. Matapoku Pempe did at the ministry.
Final one. Do you think the Baumia Napo ticket will guarantee victory for the NPP in this year's election?
I have no doubt in my mind, because I think that averagely, for the first time in the history of this country, we have a fairly younger persons to lead this country. I have not seen this pair before. Since 1992, you always have people who are a bit older than the current ticket that we have in MPP. And so, since the youth carries most of the voting members, or most of the voting age, I think that they will be able to understand the youth and know what the youth actually want. I have no doubt in my mind that the youth is going to endorse Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Dr. Matapoku Pempe.
No, thank you.
Thank you.